Hey guys, what's up? It's Schlaw coming back to ya with another episode of Walks with Schlaw, and I regret to. Oh no, you know what? Never mind. Never mind. I was gonna say I think I overestimated some things, and I do think that's still largely correct, but I actually think there still could be another Walks with Schlaw, so maybe it still is worth getting set up on the other phone. I don't know. I also wanted to look into the battery size differences from the iPhone 13 mini to the SE 3rd gen, and I honestly have a feeling that the 13 mini may still have a larger battery. I don't know why, even though the overall mass of the SE 3rd gen is larger. I was wondering if, since it was like a little bit thinner and the camera bump was a lot smaller. I mean, theoretically, but you do have like the Touch ID sensor, but still, I feel like it's actually an interesting like engineering question. What matters more for battery size, thinness or actual total length times width times height of the device? Because I feel like what could have been possible is they may have optimized the SE 3rd gen for efficiency, like in terms of cost effectiveness, and not genuinely cramming the best battery they could in there, you know? So it's I think it's a little bit difficult to say, but my hunch is really like for multiple reasons, because I still think it's larger overall. And I mean, there's a few ways the size doesn't really matter as much, because it's like the chassis being larger, because you have like but then there's areas like the volume and lock buttons and the mute switch, since they actually protrude much more outward. Theoretically, that would free up more real estate on the inside. And what I was going to get to is the SE 3rd gen does not have the MagSafe charger magnet in it, which that definitely frees up some space. So the thing that's interesting is the 16E, they actually did dump a giant battery into, but the 16E has that really squared off design. So again, I wonder if it really is true that just thickness and the squared off thing makes that much of a difference, because I don't know, but I do think a big part of it is just the designing and kind of what's more cost effective. I think at the time maybe they were more interested in keeping the SE 3rd gen's battery low. But again, like I'm saying now, it's kind of weird because the 16E, it actually has a bigger battery than the 17, and I actually think it's by a decent amount. I can't really remember though, so maybe it's not actually by that much, but I still think it's very interesting. I mean, I guess it's good for like consumers, because you know, a lot of people could buy the 16E and then genuinely have it for like a long time, because that battery is not going to go bad anytime soon, you know, since it's already larger than the standard baseline iPhones, and then the person getting the E would be like a budget user anyway. It almost seems like too good to be true. Like, I don't really understand why Apple would do that. Like, you would think Apple would just make the 16E's battery like slightly smaller, just because, again, like they wouldn't want it to be competing. But I'm certain there's like a ton of people who would rather be buying. I'm certain there's a ton of people who would rather be buying. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because of these jokers. This is like ruining my ability to record, actually. I'm sure it's getting picked up, but it's also not creating a good smell, so I'm just getting away from that nonsense. What was I talking about? What was I even saying? But yeah, I guess, I don't know. That was just weird. I don't know what that was. I don't know what those jokers were doing. And I don't know what this terrible odor is. This toxic smelling odor. Anyways, what am I thinking? I'm thinking that, yeah, so what I'm saying is it just doesn't really make that much sense that Apple would basically, like, it's promoting lower sales to me. I don't know why they would make like a cheaper model that actually has even longer longevity than their current like regular model. And I guess they're just fairly confident that they're still able to like generate new sales, or maybe they figure they have to compete with the used phone market, and they're making the judgment call that a lot of people still won't get it because it's like it's like the budget variant. And I still don't know though. I guess sales probably have been pretty poor for it, so maybe they do figure it's just this like thing that's not really going to end up mattering because they're just trying to cater to as many different markets and people as possible. I mean, even with the iPhone Air, it's like that, they're just trying to cater to as many different people as possible. But I don't know. I know I've been talking about this for like way too much at this point. Also, I was wrong. I do not have 40 gigabytes left. I have like 60 or 70 gigabytes left. So that whole whatever, I don't know what I was talking about, honestly. And even with the missed episodes, I just hope there aren't any missed episodes. I guess because when I was talking about earlier about the titling the things a certain way, I hope I didn't miss any, because it was getting confusing doing the two different things on two different phones, and like the one time the phone was dead on me, and then I had to record on the 14 Plus, and then we didn't get the recording on the 13 Mini, and that was a doozy, wasn't it? So yeah, I don't think there's too much else to mention, really. I was really waiting for this guy to move, but okay, good, he's leaving. Anyways, so yeah, I don't know, but I really find it like hard to believe that they're giving away so much with that budget iPhone. I have a feeling it's, like I said, they must have calculated or figured there was a market for it, and like for certain people it wouldn't eat away from their other offerings or something. I'm really not sure, but seems kind of weird to me. Like, they're making a lot of phones, and for a while the SE was like not even updated that frequently, and now it seems like they're going to be updating the budget phone a lot. So that also doesn't really make too much sense to me, but again, it's like, what can you do? Yeah, in a way, maybe it's for the better if there's not going to be many more walks with Schlaw this week. I'm really mentally feeling like I'm feeling pinched, like I don't like it. But I'm just trying to get through these days, and hope that at some point in the future I'm feeling better. I'm trying to think, like, I really think the main thing is getting my room in order. Like, that's really the main thing, is getting my room cleaned. But the problem is I'm too drained to do it. That's the problem. Like, I just can't do it, you know? And with working and stuff, it's just a lot, you know? So there is that and everything. I don't know. I don't really know where I'm getting at, but it's just yeah, I mean, I'm really trailing off here. I thought, well, you know what is nice though? This was really a good break. It's actually kind of a shame that I don't have this as an option anymore, because it was good for me. The walks with Schlaw, it was definitely like a good thing, and you just don't know what happens or why it happens, you know? But then life tells you can't do this anymore. Like, you find a good outlet, and then I don't even know. Again, like in the summer, it's going to be kind of a pain to do because of how sweat works in the summer, and it's just not very comfortable. And I don't know. You just have to figure out like what's going on, but I was just hoping for some kind of an energy rebirth by now, but it's just not happening, man. Like, and I feel shackled. I feel shackled. I don't know. And I need some kind of electricity, and I sought it, and nothing changes, you know, nothing changes. My life, it keeps, everything is about everything is not necessarily bad, you know, that's for sure. It's not necessarily bad. But I wonder, like, if I'm always doing a little bit too much when it comes to trying to cope with things, and I don't necessarily speak up for myself or like what I truly want enough, you know? Like, does that make sense? Because for most people, they'll complain immediately even when they shouldn't. That's like what most people do. They just get like weird and crazy, and they'll be standing up for themselves too much. But in my case, I think I end up coming up with coping mechanisms and things that, you know, maybe it's too much coping. Like, maybe I have to stand up like everybody else does. It's just that I see the way everybody else behaves, and it's just wrong, you know? It's not a good way to be. And it's just such a deep, there's just such a deep self-centeredness to it, and it's not working. I mean, things are crashing and burning, and people really have to start to wise up to that. That's why I think there's a lot of huge punishments due, you know, and I'm waiting to see it. But in my case, I could be waiting for a long time, you know? It's just like, how do you expect to win with these things? I don't really know. I don't really expect it, honestly. I think it's like one of those things I may just have to come to terms with or something. I don't know how else to explain it. I just don't know how else to explain it, you know? And I know, like, I'm not even talking that loud. Like, during the actual walks with Schlaw, I was really focused. I had these interesting ideas to tell. Now I don't even know if I believe what I said during those things before. I mean, it's like a mixture of things, you know? just what comes out of the mouth, and then I don't know, it's like, but maybe I said something that mattered. It's only been one episode so far. It was just that episode about me being tired of talking to dead people, and yeah, that was a real statement. That was really a real statement. But so I don't know where I'm at. That's what I'm saying. I don't know where I'm at, and it's kind of a shame. And I don't know, like this episode, it's not getting anywhere, but at least it's a good break for me. I think I don't give myself enough time to talk on the microphone now. I'm kind of starving myself in that sense, but it's difficult because of how much I'm working, and I don't need to be working as much, but it's too stressful with the way money is and the economy is and everything. It's just too stressful, I don't, it's not right. It's not right, but we're gonna try to persevere through it, I'm actually thinking of doing something pretty extreme this episode. I'm thinking of ending the episode a little bit early. I don't know why, but that's just what I feel like doing. So I think I'm going to do it. Like, I'm feeling like divinely guided to just end it as maybe some kind of a signifier of something or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I just want to walk in silence for a little bit. But nonetheless, I'm glad that I hit record. It's just that, yeah, I don't really know. I'm just just trying to figure things out, just trying to do things, and yeah. So, anyways, it's been Schlaw, but now it's time to buy Schlaw. So, see ya, Schlaw.